Is Kindle Vella worth it? We're excited to share a new storytelling option available through Kindle Direct Publishing, Kindle Vella. With Kindle Vella, you can self-publish serialized stories one short episode at a time. Episodes can range from 600 to 5,000 words. In the next few months, readers will be able to access all Kindle Vella stories in the Kindle iOS app and on Amazon.com. This is what they've told us so far, but what do we actually know about the Kindle Vella? Now, it is a Kindle app, but it's separate from the normal Kindle app reader. It's Kindle Vella, and it's available only in the US right now, and as they said, it's not quite available yet to the public. I think Amazon saw what was going on over on Wattpad. If you're not familiar with it, just go ahead and Google it on up, and essentially is the same model to where people are publishing short episodic series over onto a platform of eager readers. So you're going to submit your short story through the Kindle Vella portal, but you can simply go to there over at kdp.amazon.com/Kindle_Vella. My video editor will put it right here on the screen. So we know that it has to be 600 words to 5,000 words altogether, and it needs to be episodic. You have the discretionary ability to trickle out episodes as you see fit, but bear in mind before you go break ground on there, understand that you're going to have to roll the snowball uphill before you see any kind of real traction, meaning that the first few episodes are available to readers 100% free, so you've got to hook them in order to keep them coming back and binging on your episodes. Now, the file accepted is either doc or docx. Now, this functions very much like what Wattpad does, and where you can write the content on their platform through their online editor. And what they said was this: at this time, Kindle Vella supports basic formatting such as bold, italics, and underlines. That's it. If you're a nonfiction author, then chances are very likely if you're having a lot of images in there, they're like, no, we don't need that. Not to say that nonfiction's not welcome, because there is one category for nonfiction on Kindle Vella. They go on to say the following formatting is not currently supported: indented paragraphs, images, charts, tables, special characters, and emojis. I know some of you are probably just really disappointed because you wanted to load up the banana emoji in every single one of your books to pay tribute to this channel. Totally just kidding. Please don't do that. Now, the ebook covers are a little different. In fact, they share a lot in common with Audiobook Creation Exchange's audiobook covers, in that it's square, but it's 1600 by 1600. And this is the part that I think is very interesting. They do not require any text on it. So you don't need to put the author name on there. You don't need to put the name of the book. All you need to do is maybe showcase a portion of that specific episode, maybe a character of some sort, but they really just want to have something that is representative of the short episode. And you can upload that in JPEG or TIFF, and it has to be below 2 megabytes. Now, when it comes to the metadata requirements, that means the title, subtitle, a book description, all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much the same in which you would typically get over in Kindle Direct Publishing, but there is a small catch. The 7 back-end keywords are actually called tags, and it's laid out in the old school way of how KDP used to do it. It was one giant block, one box, and then you would separate each one of those keywords with a comma. So these keywords can be upwards of 25 characters per keyword slot. So you can have a little bit less than what you're normally accustomed to on KDP, where you have up to 50 characters and 7 separate slots. Here's the really cool thing. I kind of like this, and it actually is somewhat available through KDP and the ebooks, but there's something that's called author notes. So let's just say, for instance, you want to put in a little bit of author commentary, maybe give like a little bit of an Easter egg to the readers. This is essentially a tool to build engagement on your story. So avoid including any links prompting readers to go off of Kindle Vella. They've made it very clear in their TOS. They do not want you sending people off of their platform. They want people staying in the Kindle Vella app and reading more and more and binging the content, not going over and subscribing to your newest email newsletter or going and checking out your website or watching your YouTube videos. Now, the author notes section can have upwards of 200 words, so you do have somewhat of a limitation on this, but still, it's kind of a nice little extra feature. Now, let's take a look at a few points, all right, a few fine points in the fine print. Let's start it out with the very first one I noticed is fresh new content. Now, according to them, they said this: to provide the best experience for readers, Kindle Vella stories should be written specifically to be released in a serial format, one 600 to 5,000 word episode at a time. If you have a story in this format that is available elsewhere, you can also publish it with Kindle Vella. Let's put a pin in that right there because you're going to find it gets confusing here in just a second. To ensure a good customer experience, Kindle Vella does not accept content that's freely available. Okay, fair enough. So they don't want you to go and take your book that you've been writing over on your blog or through Wattpad that's available free there. They don't want you to put it on over there. They want brand new, fresh content, but with that exception, that little asterisk, the thing I said, we'll put a pin into it. So the very next thing is, number 2, monogamous relationship. They become very jealous if you try to go anywhere else. In fact, they say this: if you wish to incorporate an episode or story into other content, you must unpublish all episodes of that story from Kindle Vella. So that means you can go through the whole painstaking task of writing an epic novel. You broke it down into separate chapters that you can upload over to Kindle Vella, but you cannot take the compilation of that and first of all publish it on Kindle Vella because obviously that's over 5,000 words. You can't go over and publish it on KDP. Nonetheless, they want that exclusive to their platform. That's the part that gets me confused because they say, well, if it's available somewhere else, you can bring it here, but we don't want that. Okay, so maybe they haven't quite done a good enough job of proofreading their guidelines in terms of services, but nonetheless, Kindle Vella and the KDP team, come on, let's clean up that verbiage. And now number 3, slightly confusing guidelines. We were kind of discussing this before. One of the things they say you cannot do is this: break down your previously published book or long form content into episodes and republish in Kindle Vella, even if that book or long form content is no longer available or is written in another language. If your episode or story is derived from another work you have authored, for example, it continues the story from a book, you may include up to 5,000 words of content from the other work in the first episode to bridge the story, provided you control the rights to do so. Okay, so they're like, look, you can't bring your Werebear Shapeshifter novel, break it down into other pieces on Kindle Vella if it's already been published elsewhere. We want fresh new content. But we'll take content you got published elsewhere. Like, totally fine. Like, what? Now, what about the payout? Now, this is very interesting. You get a 50% royalty with a catch, all right? You're not pricing your ebooks at all. You can't price it at all. It is all based on the amount of words that are available in your story. What happens is the reader goes to Kindle Vella, they buy what's called tokens that they can redeem on these episodes, and they will buy them in bulk. So for instance, 200 tokens is about $1.99, 525 tokens is about $4.99, 1,100 tokens is about $9.99, and 1,700 is $14.99. Readers then redeem their tokens based on the length. So 1 token equals about 100 words. Therefore, 50 tokens equals 5,000 words. You could probably go through and do the math. If you have to go and buy something in bulk at a specific level, you're just going to go ahead and figure out, and I think it comes out to even less than a fraction of a cent per, word. It's at first, it's a little bit confusing, but I will be covering this in a future video where I'm going to share what I think about KDP Select versus Kindle Vella. Is that going to be worth it monetarily speaking? Now, is Kindle Vella worth it? And time will tell. It's so early right now. I see a lot of people who are excited and I see a lot of people who are upset. And it's just going to depend on your business philosophy. Where are you taking yourself and your author brand? Because Kindle Vella might make sense to kind of level up your discoverability on the Amazon platform and give something more beyond what you're typically used to. The biggest thing is the early adopters, those that are really hedging all their bets on it and uploading tons and tons of new episodes without the actual app being launched. That's kind of crazy, but kudos to you if you're already trying to break ground early, because you might just get rewarded for it. Let me know if you plan on publishing over on Kindle Vella. I definitely would love to hear from you inside the comments. And meantime here, I actually did a deep dive of the Kindle Vella app over here inside this very next video. I definitely will see you. That's actually my podcast channel. You need to go over and subscribe to that. I'll see you there.